Hi, I'm Carolyn Weller, and I'm back here with our good friend Sharon Eastman from Big Horizon Mortgage. And it has been a couple weeks, and we thought it was worthwhile circling back around just to get an update on what's going on in the lending world and how that affects our consumers. So, Sharon, do you want to start us off by talking about what's happening in lending? And I just want to tell everybody, please hang on to the very end. Stick with us. It's not going to take long. There's a little tidbit at the end that can help make you more competitive as you're out there shopping and you want the advantage, especially in multiple offer situations. So Sharon, I'm going to start off with you and you can take it away talking about lending update.
Okay, great. Thanks, Carolyn. So after everything changed with COVID, we saw a real contraction of the mortgage market with a contraction of underwriting guidelines. So things got tighter. People needed to provide more information and there was more different debt ratios and things like that. Yay, with conventional loans, that's Fannie and Freddie, we're seeing those loosen. So kind of getting back to where we were before everything happened.
Awesome.
With jumbo and portfolio, they are still a little bit tighter. Doesn't mean you can't get a loan. There's plenty of loans. It's just that's kind of where we are with those.
They haven't softened their regulations on that yet. No.
We've seen conventional rates get a little better.
Okay.
And low threes, and with some points, you can even get in the high twos.
Awesome.
And but jumbo rates have not. They're kind of where they were before.
Okay.
Again, because it's a different kind of market and different kind of investor who offers jumbo loans.
They're held in-house by each particular lender.
Exactly, but they are also sold sometimes, but they might be sold to a different kind of investor than a Fannie or Freddie investor.
Okay.
A conventional investor.
Okay.
And then the employment check thing, and you and I talked about this briefly. If anybody's closed a loan in the last 3 months, this is a big deal. It's something that is new. Employment is being checked on the day of closing to make sure that your income or your hours haven't changed. And if you're doing a refinance, it's being checked on the day of funding. So when you refinance a primary residence, you have that 3-day waiting period. So we're checking it the day that the loan funds. With the purchase, that's the same day. So I'm doing a lot of my closings in the afternoon so that we can give enough time during the day to make sure that employment gets checked on the day of closing.
What should a consumer be ready for the day of closing to verify their employment and their income?
We have to independently call their employer, and so they can't really do much about it except for make sure that their employer's on their toes and they know this is my closing day. You will be getting a call. Make sure to call them back.
So it's good to have that communication with your employer and let them know so that they're primed and ready.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So that leaves our surprise.
We're just full of them.
Which is, it's important for me, for my buyers, but it's conventional only, right?
Right.
So take it away.
Okay. So conventional always means Fannie and Freddie. So those are loans that are $500, $10,400 or less. Your purchase price, of course, could be higher than $510,000. But that's the loan amount. This does not apply to government loans, FHA, VA, USDA, and this does not apply to jumbo loans. The topic is appraisal waivers. We are getting them left and right. And in the wise words of Oprah, you get an appraisal waiver and you get an appraisal waiver and you get an appraisal waiver.
And that helps everybody.
Everybody. So how can you use it to be in to your advantage in a multiple offer situation? So what an appraisal waiver means is that when we went through the automated underwriting at Fannie or Freddie and put in a value, perhaps the purchase price in this scenario, the algorithm said both the value and the rest of the characteristics of the loan and the borrower are acceptable for an appraisal waiver. We're accepting that house is worth that much. And so we're not going to make you do an appraisal. So what are the advantages? The first advantage is you just saved anywhere from $600 to $700 because you don't have to do an appraisal. So, good savings right there. And everybody loves to save. But the way it can help you in a multi-offer situation is if I am working with the buyer or they're working with another lender, before the offer, we do an application in my office, that's no cost or obligation. But we do the application. I do the work to put it through the Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac automated underwriting to find, and we have to have an address. It doesn't without an address. So you know the house you're going to offer on. We fill out the application. We put it in with that address, and we can find out whether you're going to get an appraisal waiver.
Awesome.
Then you can make your offer knowing that you don't have to have an appraisal contingency.
Right.
That you know that you're going to have an appraisal waiver, and that might be an advantage, one, to the borrower, to the seller, just because.
Regardless of financing,
Right.
Regardless if they're financing.
But the other thing is that you can close quicker. Appraisals are generally what eat up all the time in a timeline from application to closing. That's why many local banks are doing 45 to 60 day closings right now, because of the time it takes to do an appraisal. So we can, if the borrower's on board and the seller's on board and we get an appraisal waiver, we can probably close a loan in 3 weeks.
Okay. So let's just play that out a little bit. And let's say I have a buyer, Joe Smith and his wife Mary want to buy a house, and we've been looking for a while, and we've identified a property. We look at it at 3:00 in the afternoon, let's say, and they say we want to make an offer, and they've already pre-qualified with you. I have them pick up the phone and call you, say this is the property
address.
Run with. And so they give you the property address, you do the application, and if they get the appraisal waiver, we can write that right into the contract, giving them a leg up. So it's a bonus for them and a tool for me to make them successful in the offer process. So absolutely, that's awesome news.
And the worst case scenario is that the seller doesn't care about closing fast, but you saved your borrower $500 or $600 or $600 or $700 in an appraisal.
And at the end of the day, for me, it's probably not so much the timeline. It's the fact of making them competitive and not waiting on getting that appraisal back to close. We get through inspections and we know that it's just waiting for the final clear to close from the lender. So once they've met all their financial obligations to you and the lender. So that's great news. Just out of curiosity, does the system generate some sort of a document that we can include saying that they received that waiver?
Well, what we call the DU or the LP findings, the findings of your loan approval, does have it written in there, but I don't think we would provide that to anybody because the borrower's information on it. That is
okay. All right. Maybe just a letter from you saying.
Yeah, and I think writing it in the contract is they're agreeing to it. Right?
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's it, right? That wraps it up in a little bow. It's a present for everybody. All right. Exactly. And a tool that we can use together as a team to get them to the closing table in a more streamlined, less stressful fashion. So, all right. Absolutely. Sharon, it's always so good to talk to you. Thank you so much for your advice and knowledge. And until the next time.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, Sharon. Bye-bye.